Hey everyone, I wanted to go over the new and exciting news that we got for Hunter Rise Sunbreak, which is set to release on both the Nintendo Switch and on PC on June 30th. And today, I wanted to tackle one of the more interesting topics heading into the release of Sunbreak, and that is to try to answer the most interesting question that I think I can pose, and that is, what is the biggest mystery heading into this game? More importantly, basically, who is Chiche? She is one of the characters that is being introduced in Sunbreak, and there's a lot of mystery revolving this specific character that Capcom has been kind of dropping hints at, but more importantly, we kind of already know most of it, but there's a second part of this that I don't necessarily think has been addressed. So in this video, I want to try to put all that together in a little bit of a primer video as we head into Sunbreak, and more importantly, since the picture has not been fulfilled, try to fill in those voids and get some answers before the release of the game. So there's about 5 to 6 different descriptions that they've put out for her throughout pretty much the time that she's been revealed as becoming a character for the game, and I want to go over them first and then kind of given my entire completed picture at the back end of the video. I'm going to leave a timestamp below just so you can skip to that part if you don't necessarily care for the primer introduction, if you will. So first and foremost, one of the first original posts that they shared in Japanese introducing her reads as follows. She's the receptionist girl at the quest counter Chiche at the observation base of Elgato. Her true character is the princess who has been the highest succession to the throne. And because she couldn't keep up with the crisis in the kingdom after studying very hard, she got the qualifications instead to become a receptionist. So that right there alone should be telling you quite a lot of what's actually going on. You get to hear that there's obviously some turmoil happening in the kingdom. You get to understand that she is the one next in line to presumably become the queen or king or whatever role that they're going to try to end up giving her. But more importantly, because she basically couldn't keep up with any of that, she just decided to become the receptionist and the head or the representative at Elgato for the kingdom itself. The second update reads as follows. She has been appointed to Elgato by overcoming the opposition of her surroundings. And although she is royal family, she treats everyone indiscriminately and works steadily, which is the spiritual pillar of the Knights of the Kingdom. So this not only confirms that she's of course now been appointed by the kingdom itself to Elgato, but we also get confirmation that she is respected by everyone because of the way she views people by individuals instead of by standing, by birth, or anything along those lines. In another one of the updates that we received, they read as follows. She is a girl receptionist at the quest counter of the observation base Elgato. And although she is a newcomer, she does take up the role of the receptionist at heart and tries her very best in all willing situations. Since she's superior, she works steadily and has become a spiritual pillar for the Knights of the Kingdom. So once again, this is kind of like reinforcing the idea that she just recently came into this role. This is something that is kind of referenced to in the very first update that we went over. And more importantly, that she's kind of like once again revered by the people around her because the way she actually treats them, which is kind of like one of the ongoing themes that we're going to keep seeing in these updates. This was also reinforced by one of the developer Suzuki updates that we got, which went as follows. I am Suzuki, the director. The receptionist Chiche, who appeared in the video, and they're referencing the original reveal trailer, is the leader of the base, where even Admiral Gallius, who kneels down in front of her, actually reveres her for what she is. And then he actually asked the question, actually, she's the princess of the kingdom, but why is she the receptionist at this base? And this begins to have that little bit of a conversation as to like why she is here in the first place, where even important people like the Admiral Gallius, which we went over a couple of days ago, like a revered royal knight, pretty much has to bend the knee to a princess who probably seems to be out of place in a situation where they're at the front lines having to deal with monsters, and you know they have to kind of like babysit her, and that is not something perhaps they're not willing to do. But there's more to that. One of those things that kind of remind you that she's still just a child and like probably in a really bad out of place situation is the fact that they went ahead and posted one of the updates that reads as follows. With her round glasses and big bag featuring an adorable plushie mascot, this young girl charms all those who meet her. Though she serves as the Elgato Outpost quest damsel, her true identity is that she's the kingdom's royal princess. And this is something that they've kind of touched upon a couple of times in different updates as well, which I didn't feel like merited much, other than mentioning that the fact that they kind of like talk about how she has this plushie that she really cares for quite a lot, and it means something important to her. There's even a concept art image that you should be seeing on screen right now that actually showcases her like making like different versions of that plushie and trying to give them out to like people at the like Elgato outpost. So she's kind of like very diligent in that regard. She's just kind of like, she takes care of herself and tries to like bring up the mood of everyone around her, which is something that also plays a big role as to why she is there in the first place. Which kind of circles back to the original questions. What is the biggest mystery heading into this game when it comes to related to Tigrex? As to, she's a princess of the royal kingdom. She's supposed to be, you know, back at home dealing with whatever turmoil they are dealing with, which is referenced directly in one of the posts already that the developers shared. But she's instead dealing with the outpost situation as the royal knights deal with, you know, the three lords essentially. And this is something that I want to tackle in a separate video as I discuss the royal knights and their role in the entirety of the story of the game. But more importantly, her role in this is to basically oversee the royal knights. And that's basically the takeaway that I had when I kind of like started digging into all of this, that she has basically been sent by the kingdom to oversee that the royal knights make sure they fulfill their role in taking care of the three lords, because ultimately the three lords are the biggest menace outside of whatever it is happening in the kingdom itself. Now again, the kingdom still remains unnamed. We don't necessarily know who they are or what they are, but more importantly is that we know that the three lords are causing so much of chaos, not only at the Citadel, that Luna Garen is already shown causing trouble in Komura Village. And one of the biggest threats to the brand new posted Elgato outpost is that these three lords could basically just destroy the place. And it's something that they do not wish to deal with, as Malseno's malevolence is the way that they've kind of categorized it in different updates in Japanese. It's kind of been spreading. So it's one of those things that they are concerned with. They need to address it as best as possible, which is why presumably the royal knights are sent, and they need someone from the kingdom themselves to oversee it. The royal knights are trusted. They are believed to be a proper good tool for the kingdom, but ultimately they need someone from the kingdom themselves to be able to address it. And who better than the princess herself, Tigrex, who just recently happened to become a receptionist for the guild, who should be able to take care and handle a task like of this sort. So that seems to be what the situation is on her side of the deal. As to what the royal knights are supposed to be dealing with, that is something that I want to tackle in a separate video in a few days, as we pretty much head into the presumably to be the last presentation that we're going to have as the game is simply set to launch in June. I don't think we're going to get another presentation after May. We're hoping that the presentation that we do get is going to be substantial and provide us with more updates, specifically when it comes to the story of these characters. But knowing Capcom, they're just going to have to, you know, they're just going to make us wait at the end of the day until the game comes out. But that's about all the information that I want to go over, give you a little bit of a primer as to who Tigrex is, what is the mystery behind her, not really that she's a princess, but more importantly, what her role is into all of this. And then next I want to tackle the Royal Knights and see what they're all about. If you're brand new to my channel, be sure to leave a like and subscribe, hit the bell to receive notifications when the videos go up, and as always, thank you so much for watching. See ya.